Hey everybody. If you're looking for concert and music photography information, you're in the right place. On this channel, I cover many topics that no one else covers. This channel, over the next 3 videos, we're going to discuss low light concert exposure. The first video is going to cover shutter speed and lens selection. The second one will cover aperture, and the last one will cover ISO. Hi, I'm Robert Maxfield, and I've been photographing live music since 1977, and I have covered Queen, Bad Company, Heart, Fleetwood Mac, Ted Nugent, Van Halen, Blue Oyster Cult, the Moody Blues, John Denver, Charlie Daniels, and more recently Eric Johnson, Ray Wylie Hubbard, Cody Canada, Lee Brice, Orianthi, and many more. So stay tuned for just a second, and I'm going to start the video with lens selection and shutter speed and what they mean to each other. All the lenses that I'm going to show you have been used in concert photography by me at least at one time or another. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with the widest, which is the 28 millimeter. The 28 millimeter f2.8 is a wide angle lens. It's wide. It gives you a wide field of view. And the rule of thumb, the minimal handhold shutter speed that you should use is going to be 1/30th of a second. Now a lot depends on that 1/30th of a second. If you have good technique, your breathing is right, and you're steady, 1/30th is okay. You can even shoot lower than that in some cases if you have real good technique. But another thing that's a variable on it is how fast your subject, the band, the artist, whoever, is moving on the screen, on the stage. That will affect the blur or the image, the sharpness of the image. Another lens that is real common, real popular that I've used is the 50 f1.8. This is what a lot of people, you'll hear it called the nifty 50, you'll hear it called the normal lens. This gives you a normal type field of view. What do you think the shutter speed would be? Probably 1/50th of a second, could be about 1/60th. If your subject is moving, you want a higher shutter speed, at least 1/25th to probably 1/250th, 1/25th to 1/250th of a second to keep everything sharp, stopped, and in focus. The next lens is real common is the 135 millimeter, which is a short telephoto. This is a 135 f2.5. It is a manual lens that I shot with an Olympus camera many years ago, and you guessed it, probably your shutter speed would be about 1/135th of a second to, most common would be 1/160th of a second to probably 1/200th, maybe 1/250th of a second. And this is a 200 millimeter f3.5, also an Olympus lens that I've shot years ago with, but the minimal shutter speed that you should use when shooting in low light at concerts with something like this is roughly 1/200th of a second to probably 1/250th of a second. If your subject is moving quite a bit, you still want to go up. You may want to go to 1/400th of a second, 1/500th of a second, or even higher, because this lens is narrower in focus. If you want to see that effect, the best thing to do is to close your eye and look through the one eye that you look through the viewfinder, and then look and see the width of what you can see. That's an effect of pretty much either a normal lens or a wide angle lens. If you want to see what the focal length of a telephoto looks like, what you want to do is take either a toilet paper roll for a short telephoto, or you want to take a paper towel roll or a piece of PVC pipe, look through it, and it's something that's probably 15 to 20 feet away, and you will see that your field of vision has narrowed down considerably. Your breathing, if you're not holding it correctly when you're looking through it, you'll notice that it kind of bobs up and down and kind of makes a strange looking, it wobbles. So that a slower shutter speed will cause, in a longer telephoto, will cause what's called a breathing or a technique type of blur. What I use most commonly nowadays on my Nikons, I have a 28-105. So when I'm at 28 millimeters, guess what? 1/130th of a second or 1/160th of a second. When I take it out to 105, I'm going to be at 1/125th of a second to all the way up to, maybe if they're moving quite a good clip, kind of like American Aquarium or somebody like that. A lot of your punk rock kind of stuff, I'd be at anywhere from 125 to probably 1/250th of a second. My camera, in my lens of choice is the 80-200 f2.8. So, all right, let's see. If I'm at 80 millimeter, I should be at least 1/180th of a second if I have good technique. Okay, that's the minimal I should be at. If I'm at 200, I should be at 1/200th of a second. So it varies depending on what I'm doing with the lens and how far I've got it zoomed in or out. So that makes a big difference. This is a continuous lens that stays at f2.8 if I have it set at f2.8. Some of your more inexpensive lenses are either f3.5, f5.6, or f4.5, f6.3, and what they do is, as you zoom in or out, that f-stop also changes. We'll go over that in the next video. But these are the lenses I use of choice on some of the cameras that I use on a weekly, daily basis. This chart shows the focal length of each lens and its field of view. So you can see the wide angle, like the 28, how much wider it is than the more narrow 200 millimeter lens. So be aware that there's a rule of thumb for the length of the lens or the width of the lens and the shutter speed that is recommended to use even in low light. This is very important in low light kind of situations. It still applies the same in daylight, but in low light it's even more critical because you've got other factors that take effect at the same time. So if you found anything in this video that you like, please like, subscribe. We appreciate it. Our channel is growing. We enjoy bringing this kind of information. If you find it useful, let us know. Send us some comments. You know, we all these cameras, most of this cameras gear we get used and we buy from B&H in New York. So it's as you can see, some of it, the camera stuff I've had since probably 1977, 78, well, 1980 on the Olympus equipment. So it doesn't really too much matter as far as long as the equipment operates and the lens operates and you know how to run it, you're able to get good sharp pictures in low light, and it's not real hard. Look forward to the next two videos. The next one's on aperture, and then the one after that is on ISO and what they mean to your total exposure in low light. And thanks for showing up for the video. We'd love to hear from you. Leave us some comments. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.